Okay, folks, welcome back to SketchUp Shed. And we are doing today, we're going to look at SketchUp Warehouse, which is where you can download some cool stuff into your drawing. We're going to look at what a tag is. Sometimes they're called layers. I might make the mistake of referring to the tag as a layer occasionally. So just be aware of that. If I say a layer, I actually mean a tag. Siding. We're going to have a look at how the siding goes on. And if we have time, we might put a flower basket on the front of the shed. Be careful with tags here, guys. Follow the instructions. You can get into a bit of trouble with it. And what we're going to do, we're going to save a new file so that we have a backup for every lesson from here on in. Okay, so that will be in the instructions of every video. And if you're interested in how you can get in trouble with tags, I'll post a couple of videos that show a couple of the problems that you can run into, but that's just if you are interested in that. I'll try and remember to post them in the classroom assignment. Now, the siding that we're using is kind of modeled on this LP Smart side, and when you get it, it's a 4x8 sheet, just like a sheet of plywood. Right now, in the end of May in 2021, it costs $53 for a 4x8 sheet. And you'll get some instructions with it. They usually have them there with it that you can pick up a set. And you'll want to read those and kind of follow along with the ideas of installing it and how to do it. A couple of examples of what you'll see in there is nailing instructions. So you'll see that you have to nail it a certain way. And I'm just going to, what I've done here, I've actually modeled. One time I thought I would use this for this shed, but it's way too fussy to use. So I've actually modeled the smart side so you can see the little edges of it. And on one edge, it has a sort of a shape like that. On the other edge, it kind of has the opposite shape, but it also has a little semicircular bead that you can see in there. So if I can get it positioned just right here so that we can see it. Come on, I think I got it now. All right, there's sort of a little semicircle right there. And when you're installing this stuff, you use that little bead. What you do, you take this piece that you're going to add, and if I can get it to position just right, you push it up against that bead, and that holds it in position while you drive the nails into it, so that you know that in the end, if you have it pushed up against that bead, this whole thing will actually be, if you put two 4-foot sheets beside each other, they should actually be 8 feet wide in the end. Okay, so what happened to my PowerPoint? Okay, so we're looking at some of the rules that you'll get in the instructions are like this. You want to keep, these are just examples of the types of rules that you can do. This is showing where the siding meets the edge of a roof like that, such as that. And what you're doing here, you want to keep this edge of the siding up off of the roof so that it's not down and wet in the water. And you kind of run into the same rule. This white image here, by the way, is straight from the instructions. I copied it out of the instructions for the siding. This is showing you the minimum nailing distances. So, maximum nailing distances. You don't want the nails too far apart. You definitely want to use enough nails. And that's showing you this kind of at bottom edge of the shed. And you've got a 6-inch maximum around the outside for the nails. And then when you're nailing to a stud that's behind there, but you're nailing up the middle of a piece of siding, those nails can go 12 inches apart. And now we're going to have a look at SketchUp Warehouse and the things that you can download. Now, I've showed you before the components. If you look over here, you can see a little 3 cubes. That's showing you your components. If I go to the Home Components thing, it shows us all the components that we have in this drawing. And if I go here and I start to enter, looking for something this will let me search for something in the SketchUp Warehouse. So I've already decided what model I want to search for, and it's ADA compliant men's washroom stall. This was just the best example that I could find. that shows you what tags are. And no examples were found. Men's complaint. We want compliant, not complaint. Men's compliant. Washroom stall. Okay, there it is. Now, this guy's ADA compliant means that that's the Americans with Disabilities Act, and it means that the washroom is built in such a way that you can get a wheelchair in there, turn it around, use it. There's handrails, everything else like that. When you're downloading from SketchUp Warehouse, I know that on my internet connection with my computer, I can get away with doing this. You might want to avoid importing large things into your file that you're keeping, okay? Because large things tend to make SketchUp behave a little funny, and it really does happen, right? It may slow down SketchUp or cause other issues, and it really does, when you're trying to maneuver in SketchUp, it gets sort of all jumpy. But I can import an entire washroom here, which is exactly what I'm going to do. It'll take a minute to download because it's big, and then it will have a whole washroom. And I'm sure this was used to, this looks pretty professionally made, this thing. It's very detailed. Okay. It'll appear in just a second. Okay, there it is. So I'm just going to set it right there. Now, this washroom, when you look in the back of it, it has a lot of detail. It has light fixtures, it has a toilet, a sink, a door. It has, that's like a deodorant sprayer over the door, the paper towel dispenser. And I'm going to close off all of this, but I'm going to bring up something called tags, which is what we're going to make for our drawing and show you how this keeps things organized. If I go over to the right here, this icon right here, it says tags. That is the tags icon. It looks like a tag on your shirt in the store when you buy it, right? So if I click that, I can see that this person has assigned a number of tags to all the different parts of this. So if a plumber wants to look at this and he wants to take a measurement for the toilet, how far the toilet has to be from that far wall, say, he doesn't really, all of this stuff is kind of in his way of seeing very clearly. So with tags, you can turn off, there's the accessories, which was the bars that the person can hold to, and the paper towel holder and the toilet paper holder. You can, if he wants a top-down view, he can go like this, but the ceiling and the fan are going to be in the way. So you can turn off the ceiling, and the fan is part of heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. So you turn off the men's washroom HVAC for heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. And now you can get a pretty clear view down from the top. And what happens if we turn off the flooring? Does it make it better or worse? That kind of makes it worse. It would make it better if we had a white background. But I guess you can see the toilet and the sink a little better so that you could see how to get your measurements there. Now, you can see how it could also make it easier to work. If I'm trying to work and I was trying to work on, say, the light fixtures, I can turn off the rest of the stuff and I can see the light fixtures plainly. Whereas once I start turning all the tags back on, it gets really busy in there and it's a lot harder to maneuver around. So what we're going to try and do is organize our drawing into tags. When you open that up today, because you can get yourself into a little bit of trouble with tags, you're going to go to your drive and open it up, or open it up however you opened it in the past. I'll tell you, I learned a bit of a hard lesson. I almost lost my shed model that was complete and had, because of how I saved it. And I'll show you what start here, shed framing complete. So I opened this up the other day, and then I feel lucky that I was able to save it, that I was able to get it back, because this is my complete shed model, and I backed it up again. But when you open up your model this time, you're going to do a save as, because this is what I discovered. Well, I'll have to wait until it actually opens up here before I can show you. But I discovered that if you do a certain thing, you actually just change the name of the file. So we're going to watch that, and this is going to come up any second now. This is going to open up. I know it. All right, so the first thing that you'll do when you open up your model, and we're going to organize this into tags, if you just change this, so you go over here and you click on this and you change it, I think that just changes the name of your file. You don't want to do that because you're not really making a backup. Go over here, do a save as. I have different drive options than you do as a student, but you'll have to save it in your Google Drive, wherever you've been saving them, as long as you can find it again later. And then I'm going to save it in SketchUp Shed Models and SketchUp Shed, and I'm going to call this Wagner SketchUp. I would appreciate it if you put your name on it, SketchUp Shed 12, because this is actually the 12th lesson, okay? So if you wanted to name it your name and then SketchUp Shed 12, that would be fantastic. So now I'm working on SketchUp Shed 12, and I know I have a backup. So for tags, the way that you make a tag here is you'll have to make up a bunch of them, and we'll go one at a time here. You open up the tags icon, so you go down to here, open up the tags, and then you're going to add a tag. And then you're going to name the very first one Rafters and Ridge Board. And you're going to hit OK. Now, when you click on the Rafters and Ridge Board, you're going to try and select them all, but without selecting any of the other stuff. And you can go to the tags and you click this overflow menu, go over to here, and it says assign tag. So whatever you've got selected right now, it's going to assign that to a tag. And then if we turn that tag off, you can't see those anymore, right? So even turning the tag off makes our life a little bit easier right now. I'm going to select some more. Oh, I selected too much there. You have to be careful here, guys. You're very skilled people now, but you still have to be careful. So I'm going to select that there. I'm going to put that in, and it's going to disappear because I've hidden that tag. I'm going to go over here, put that in. Those rafters are in. I can get these two, put them in. Those rafters are in, and I've got 4 more rafters to do. I'll just select them individually because this is getting a little bit okay, dump them in, and that's all the rafters in there. Okay, Rafters and Ridge Board. Now we're going to do another one for the rafter ties. And then we'll select all the rafter ties, of which there is, I'll get my select, and I'll hold 1, press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And rafter ties, we're going to dump those into there, and we've got them all. Then we'll turn that off. We'll make another tag for the gable studs, and then we'll select all the gable studs. Well, there are 2 components. Okay, so you can select them easy. The gable studs are actually, we made those into 2 components, right? So you put those in, turn that off, and we'll do fascia boards. We'll add a tag for fascia boards. And we will select the 2 fascia boards, and we will put them into that tag and turn them off. We'll do all the top plates as a tag. So if you can get facing this way so that you can see all the top plates kind of aligned. By the top plates, we're talking about all the wood that goes around the top, right? So if you can kind of align all the top plates, they're easy to select. Create yourself a tag that's called top plates. Click OK. If you get the select tool and you drag from left to right and you just barely encircle them, that'll select them all. And then you can add that into the top plates. And then you can turn that off. And we'll add one for the plywood floor. I'm just trying to pick which ones I think are easiest to grab at first so that this doesn't take too super long. So you pick a piece of plywood, hold your control key, pick the other two pieces, and you put them into the plywood floor, turn it off and make sure you got them. See, this way we're kind of making sure that we have everything too. Now, the floor framing, a way to grab it all, we'll do floor framing. Is that you can get looking straight along, get it aligned so that you're looking straight along it, and then get the select tool. And I think by kind of getting this in the middle right here and going along and selecting it all, oh, see, now I grabbed one too many things. I grabbed Dr. Temple Grandin as well as the floor framing, and I just want the floor framing. So you can either redo it or a way to, the only way that you can unselect is to do Control Shift and click it, and that will unselect it. So there's a specific keyboard shortcut for unselecting something in SketchUp, and it's Control Shift and unselect. Now we'll take those and we will dump them into the floor framing, turn that off, and the rest of it we will just call wall framing. What is this? That's an old piece of siding. I need to get rid of that. I don't know how that, yeah, it's an old component of siding. Okay, delete. Okay, strange. What's that? Okay, that was a group. So I'm in a little bit of trouble here now. Huh. All right. Well, we'll just ignore that. I'll have to take care of that afterwards, though. This is why, okay, I'll try and take care of that afterwards. What you want to do right now, we're just going to call the rest of it all wall framing, so you can grab everything else. Okay, make sure that you've got everything selected. So I hold down my control key and reselect, make sure that I've got all that good stuff selected. And I forgot to add a tag for that, but it should stay selected. We're going to call this wall framing. And we're going to hit OK. And we're going to add this into the wall framing. And then if we turn off the wall framing, the entire shed is gone and I missed that piece. Okay, well, I just have to select it, add it into wall framing. And then one at a time, we could look at what we've got here. We've got our fascia boards, rafter ties. They'll always stay in alphabetical order so that you can find them in alphabetical order. I don't think you can change that. Okay. So now we can easily turn things off and on and look at them while we're working. Okay. And it enables us to do other things that we will have a look at in the future as well, like setting up different camera views. So that's it for the tags for the day. But like I said, one of the main things of today's lesson is make certain that you've got your shed resaved. Now, I'm going to turn some of these off because what I'm going to do is we're going to put siding on here and we're going to use SketchUp Warehouse. So right now, we really don't need anything other than, actually, we do need the floor framing in there. We don't need the gable studs. We'll keep the plywood. We'll keep the rafter ties. We'll put them off. Rafter ties and ridge board. Top plates we will need, and the wall framing we'll need. So this is all that we'll need to look at when we're doing the siding. And that takes us to the SketchUp Warehouse part. So SketchUp Warehouse if you go into your components, you can search for things in something called the 3D warehouse. I can hit the home, and that's going to show me all the components that I have in this drawing. Okay, and I can hit SketchUp Warehouse. So we've already looked at how we had that washroom in here. Now you're just going to enter, I just uploaded this to SketchUp Warehouse tonight. So we'll see if we search for Wagner siding. Does it give me, yes, siding and color balls. So you can load this into your SketchUp model. And if you didn't like the colors that your shed is, you wanted them to be, okay, I already put it. All right, I guess I already had it in here maybe. All right. Anyway, we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna load that in there, and you can position it however you want. Yeah, okay, that was already in there. Some of you may already have this in your project, so you don't need to download it from SketchUp Warehouse. But if you don't, you kind of need the siding, and if you want to change your colors to match the colors that I've got, so that it's a little easier to see, you can eyedropper them off of those balls. So it'll come in as one component, and you can't really work with it as one component, but you can explode that. And once it explodes, okay, there we go. Then it turns into 3 separate components. Okay, so now you've got your siding and your 2 color balls. What you'll do with the siding is you'll change it into a group instead of a component, because it's best in SketchUp Warehouse when you're uploading things to upload components. Trying to select that. I'm going to explode that. And then I'm going to make sure that it is exploded. I can test that real quick by doing a push-pull on something. Yep, it is. So I just hit escape so I don't actually push-pull it. And now I want to remake it into a group. Now the reason I'm doing this is because we're going to modify this siding. Actually, I should have done this, the click 3 times things. And then I'm going to make it a group. So the advantage of having a group is that we can copy it as it is, and then we can edit it everywhere in the drawing without having to change it everywhere. So we'll start off with the simplest wall here. And what you want to do is we're going to take that siding and move it onto the wall. So you'll get a move tool. You can get right onto that very corner there. Okay. Pick it. Hit control so you're duplicating it. And then move it over here and onto this wall. And set it at the bottom of the very top plate. Okay, so I'm snapping to that exact corner right there. Okay, so I've got one piece done. This wall is the easiest one. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to move it over. And I can just move it over 4 feet, I believe. So wherever I grab it is fine. I hit control so I'm copying, and then I make sure I'm in the green axis. And then I just enter 48 and then X2. And we'll see how we did here. We'll see if we got it right. When we come down here, yes, that's perfect. Okay, so now what we can do, we're just going to take those 3 pieces and we're going to select them all 3. 1, hold down your control key. 2, it's SketchUp is fussy for me tonight. Okay, so I'm going to move all 3 of them. And I'm just going to get them and move them out over here, hit the control key so that they're duplicating, and I'm going to make sure it's on the red axis. And what have I got there? I took one of the studs. I selected one of the studs. Okay, I'll just have to click that stud and hit delete. And then I'll have to reselect all of these. So however you do it, reselect them all. I better just do this. And then you're going to rotate them around So get looking down on them pretty much, because that's the direction you want to rotate in. Get the rotate tool. So come over to the move tool. It'll fly out. You pick the rotate tool. It's in the blue plane. Now, it doesn't really matter where you click as long as you turn it 180 degrees in the right way. Make sure that the rotate tool is blue. Click on the green axis and then turn it 180 degrees and click, and that's done rotating. Then you're going to have to move the three of them onto, where's my move? Oh, well, I covered it up with the rotate. You're going to have to do the same thing here where you get it by that exact corner, and you can move all three of them onto the window wall, okay? So you get, once again, you're at the bottom of the very top plate on the very edge of that corner where you're snapping to. And I'm having a little trouble snapping. Okay, that's there. So that part is done. Those two walls have their siding on them, but we have no hole for our window. That's actually easier than you might think, though. We'll just get up here and we'll get our select tool. We'll select all of this stuff right here, and we will hide it so that we can see clearly at our window. Okay, it didn't stay selected. Telling you, SketchUp is acting up tonight on me. Hide. Now it gets pointed straight at your window, and it looks like we have just one sheet of plywood in there. So you're going to edit that one group, and you'll draw a rectangle on it, just the approximate size of the window. And you push-pull that through. When you pull it onto the other surface. Oh, I didn't get it. It snapped to something else. So obviously now it pulled to some, well, let's try it again. Okay, that works. So now we do have that. No, oh, I have to undo that. Okay. I undid both push-pulls, and now I'm going to try this again. I'm going to scroll around, and I'm going to try and snap. You know where I'll try and snap it to? Right on the very edge of that, right there. And that should give me an open window, I hope. Yes. Okay, so I did it approximately, and now the thing to do is to, while you've still got it open for editing, get your push-pull tool and just push-pull your edges back to the edges of those windows, because that is the simplest way to get an opening cut that matches the opening of something else is to, okay. So it'll say on face outside active, which just means that you're snapping to something that's not part of the piece that you're editing. And get onto there and push pull until I'm on that face. Okay, there we go. So now that window opening is the perfect size of the framing. And we can exit that group. All right, so now that is that. And I'm going to just check what the length of this video is going to be before I carry on. Okay, so this video is actually super long. So I think our best thing to do right now is to, we're going to unhide everything, and we're going to wind this one down. Okay, we're going to unhide all. You're going to make 100% sure that you save this thing. So I'm going to save it now, and I'll save it again after I make a couple of changes here. We're going to have to create another tag for the siding. So I'll wait till it's finished saving before I do that. And so we can go up to here, we can close our components thing now, and we're back to our tags. So we're going to create a tag that is called siding. And then we'll just do the same thing as we did before with selecting it and putting everything into the siding tag. So I get my select tool and I select my 1, 2, 3 pieces of siding, go here and put them in there so that the siding is in its own tag. Select the other 3 pieces and go here Put them in a tag. Now, if you make a mistake, guys, if you make a mistake with putting something in the wrong tag, reassigning it is as simple as, let's say that I had put, okay, I will intentionally show you how to move one to a different tag, and then I will show you how to fix it. So let's say that I pick this header, and then I go ahead and I do this. I can dump it into the floors tag. So now if I turn off the wall framing and I turn off everything else, I'll leave what did I put it in? I put it in the floor framing. I've turned off everything else. You can see that I have the floor framing plus that header. And I never did assign a tag to Dr. Temple Grandin here. She's in the grand scheme of things, she's in the 0 tag, the tag that we're drawing in. So now I've made a bit of a mistake. Oops, I've got that header in with the flooring. Well, all I have to do is select that header and then select the wall framing, because that was part of the wall framing, and re-put it into the wall framing. So if you guys have got that done, you've come a long way in half an hour here, or 40 minutes, however long this thing is going to be. But it's you can make sure that all your tags are visible when you save it is the best idea. So you've got the whole model up, open, and saved. We'll finish off the siding as our next lesson, then save this. And then I would wait till it saves and then close your window, and then you're done, okay? Now you'll have to make sure that you attach, when you turn this in Google Classroom, you'll have to make sure that you do an attach, and you attach that file that you've made. So you'll have to do attach, and you'll have to attach Wagner SketchUp Shed 12 to your Google Classroom assignment. Otherwise, I won't be able to see it when you do it this way. Some people have been handing it in a different way, I think. Now, from here on in, you're going to have to attach the file from your Google Drive. All right? So I'm going to be you guys can get a hold of me through the Google Meet. And if you're having any trouble, and I expect that I will have to help a few people out with this a bit. And that's it for the tags and the 3D warehouse video.